Spiritual darkness and deception. Though our family faithfully gathered for nightly prayers, my spiritual life had become a profound contradiction. Despite being surrounded by a powerful spiritual environment, my heart had grown distant and hardened. Many believers can relate to this paradoxical state, being constantly present in religious spaces, familiar with spiritual practices, yet internally disconnected and unmoved. I was reminded of Jesus in his hometown, where people knew him merely as Joseph's son and a carpenter. Their familiarity bred such profound unbelief that it limited his miraculous works. This stark reality serves as a poignant warning. Mere proximity to spiritual things does not guarantee genuine spiritual transformation. Attending church is commendable, but one must guard against spiritual complacency. The cautionary tale of Eli's sons illustrates this danger. They became so desensitized to sacred spaces that they committed immoral acts right at the tabernacle's entrance. Tragically, this pattern persists today, with some spiritual leaders living duplicitous lives, believing their public ministry absolves their private transgressions. Consider Samson, who continued operating in his spiritual gifting even while compromising his integrity. He lived recklessly, believing his actions would be without consequence, until the moment arrived when God's presence silently withdrew. He was so far gone that he didn't even recognize the departure of divine power. While our family maintained an outward appearance of devotion, I was simultaneously exploring darker spiritual territories. A dangerous desire for control drove me towards manipulative practices. I attempted to master mind control techniques, though my skills never matched those of my cohorts. Our group's sinister missions frequently centered on sexual manipulation. We targeted vulnerable populations, virgins, albinos, and employed bizarre spiritual tactics. We would recruit specific women whose primary task was to engage in sexual encounters with multiple men. After each sexual act, these women were instructed to preserve the bathwater. One of the group members would then arrive and use this bathwater to perform a sinister ritual. The bathwater would be dedicated to the specific spirit entities our group served. These twisted practices were a sacrifice to them. That's how someone's life can be ruined. The spiritual realm operates on strict legal principles. Our actions create spiritual pathways, and these entities seek not temporary arrangements but generational contracts. They aim to infiltrate entire bloodlines through a single individual's moral compromise. Drawing from the biblical passage in Matthew 12:43-44, imagine an unclean spirit that leaves a person, wanders without finding rest, and then decides to return to its original house. When it returns, it finds the space empty, clean, and seemingly prepared for its re-entry. Importantly, this house isn't just an individual's physical body. It can represent an entire family lineage, potentially secured through one person's careless or reckless behavior. A single moment of moral compromise can create a spiritual doorway that affects not just the individual, but generations to come. To my fellow men, I offer this critical advice. When you encounter a beautiful woman, pause and ask yourself a crucial question. What might I lose here? Many tempting situations are like open graves, waiting to consume unsuspecting victims. Not every attractive opportunity is a blessing. Some are carefully designed traps that can destroy far more than momentary pleasure. I urgently caution against sex before marriage. The only thing that some are afraid of is sexually transmitted diseases or unwanted children, so they think a piece of condom can protect them. While physical protections like condoms might prevent biological consequences, they offer no defense against spiritual ramifications. Sexual immorality represents a superhighway for destructive spiritual forces, enabling them to steal, kill, and destroy. The biblical wisdom in Proverbs 5:8 13 powerfully articulates this warning, advising individuals to maintain distance from moral corruption, lest they surrender their honor, strength, and ultimately their future. Thanks for watching. God bless you all.